Because we don't want to forget to record. Let's see. Just a second, you guys. Got to do something right quick. You can find this on Zoom, or for those who are, you have some time later on during the week, you can, take a look at it and review the information. Okay. It's going to be very helpful to you. All right. So anyway, what we're talking about is a whole bunch of things, like a whole bunch of articles that the Holy One of Israel has introduced the children of Israel, to. And he's giving this information. It's on Mount Sinai. It's the same place where he was speaking to the children of Israel. And now he's telling them, okay, that he told Moshe, this is what I want you to tell them. This is after giving the 10 words, the Asrei HaDavarim, which are the 10 words, which are the summary of the relationship of the covenant that he was going to have with them. This is after they came up and had a meal, the elders, the 70 elders, and Aaron and his sons, and Moshe and Yehoshua. So this is after that. This is like after he sends everybody down, and it's just the Creator and Moshe. What I find to be pretty interesting about not only the book of Shemot, but about this in particular Torah portion, is that it's directly after the Mishpatim, which are talking about the way that he wants them to live, and how he's instructing them how they should live. And if something happens between, a master and his slave, and so forth and so on, and in between neighbors, and if someone gets killed. So he gives them all these regulations and says, hey, look, when you guys live among each other, this is how I want you to do it. So now he's introducing another, and so he's describing their conduct, right? The manner and how they should live their lives according to what his rulings are, okay? Not what they see fit anymore. They can't live the way that they want to live anymore, okay? Once they made that agreement, they're getting locked into this way of life because, as you know, they said, everything that you said, we will do. So Yah knows the people that he has on his hands. He knows they're stiff-necked. He knows they're always complaining. This is way after he, fed them in the wilderness, and they're, complaining. They complain about everything. They argue, they fight. So they're very hostile people. And they're very hostile towards Moshe, and they're hostile towards, Aharon, and they're hostile towards each other. And so this is a character trait that we have as a people. We like to argue, debate. And so Yah wants to put all that to silence and saying, here, this is what I'm going to tell you. So now he tells us what the judgments are last week. This week, he's telling us about his teruma, his offering that he's asking for. He calls it my teruma. Okay. So let's go right there right quick to take a look at that. So it's his offering that he's requesting. Okay. It was a command, just to let you know. It wasn't when he says it was voluntary, it's from a voluntary heart. Okay. But it wasn't a voluntary offering. It was actually a command. Okay. Listen to what he says. He says, tell the people of Israel to take up a collection for me. Okay. It's for him. Accept a contribution from anyone who wholeheartedly wants to give. Okay. We found out that word wholeheartedly is nadav, which is someone who has a heart of willingness, a heart of, somebody who's 100% with them. They have this giving heart. They have no restraint. So he says, the teruma, they call it contribution there. It's not a contribution. It is what they call a teruma, something that can be lifted up high and exalted, because Yah is asking the children of Israel to go to a higher level. Okay. And that's what he's asking. He's asking for us to go to a higher level, because in order to deal with him, you have to go to a higher level. Okay. In everything, a higher level in the way you look at your life, a higher level in your diet, a higher level, the food you eat, a higher level in the clothes you wear. Just it's all high level. Everything is high level with Yah. Okay. So then he describes these things. He says, go get me the gold, the silver, the bronze, the blue, purple, scarlet, fine linen, goat's hair, tan ram skins, fine leather, acacia wood, oil for the light, spices for the anointing oil, and for the fragrant incense, and the onyx stones, and the stones to be set. So he needs other stones, the other stones that he mentions later on. I'm not going to go into it because it's a whole nother study. The ritual vest and the breastplate. These are all the things that he's asking them for, because he has a plan. He has a literal plan for their life, and he has a plan for living with them. And the only way that the Holy One of Israel intends on living with the children of Israel is through him being there, okay, through his presence, okay. And so what he wants to do is he wants to design a home, a resting place for himself. So he says, they are to make me a sanctuary. Okay, that's what I want them to make for me. I want them to make me, and a sanctuary is called a mikdash. Okay, it's called a mikdash. Let me see here. Mikdash. My pen would work. It's right here, sanctuary. Okay, why isn't this working? And the reason why he wants this is because he wants to live among them. He doesn't want to visit. He wants to live. And that's something of great significance, and it's of great responsibility. Remember, this is about a relationship, okay? And so you might ask yourself, well, why are we talking about it? Because we're in exile, because he wants us to understand how all this began. What was his intention? He says, you got to make me a sanctuary so me and you can live together. I want to live among them. That's the goal. That's the goal for the life to come. And we're going to get more into that on the Shabbat. Yah has an intention to live with the people, okay? Right now, you and I are not living with him. Right now, you and I live among our enemies, and we live among people who hate us. We live among people who want to destroy us. We live among people who are always trying to find a way to lock us up or kill us. We live among people who know that we're qualified to do good things, and we're really good at what we do because we put everything we got into it. We're very intelligent people, okay? And we don't get the opportunity, or sometimes we don't have an opportunity to live up to our fullest potential because of all the things that are around us. I have people in my family that are gifted and talented, but they'll never see their full potential because they're not in the right environment, okay? So we don't live in the right environment. I want to be clear. And everyone's watching YouTube, understand, I got a lot of people out here on Facebook and YouTube who argue and debate, but they'll never get on and argue and debate with me live. They'll do it, behind another screen, or, they'll do a teaching and they'll close it off and they won't have anybody ask any questions. Okay. I mention that because I'm going to tell you some things that you probably never heard before. Okay. Yah's intention is to live among us. Okay. So he tells them, you are to make it according what? My Mishkan, my place, okay? My place that I want to live, my sanctuary, okay? My dwelling, called a Mishkan, okay? I'm sorry for the writing. Forgive me, guys. M-I-S-H, Mishkan, K-A-N, Mishkan, okay? Somewhere where he can recline and lift his feet up and rest and dwell. Okay. So a Mishkan to Yahweh is like his house. It's a home for him. It's where he rests and where he sits to be comfortable. Okay. So that's what he wants to do. He wants to recline. He wants to be among his people. But he says they have to do it in a certain way, though. They're going to have to do it according to everything I show you. And which is the design of the tabernacle, which is the Mishkan. Okay. And the design of all of his furnishings. Okay. So Yah is giving Moshe an insight into something that humanity has never seen or heard before. Okay. We've heard about Kavarim and Malaks and angels guarding the garden. He's described, coming in and destroying the earth. He's described having meetings with Yaakov and coming to speak with Abraham and them seeing visions and so forth. We've had those that understanding and those conversations, but this is the first time that Yah is actually giving people an inside shot to showing them something. He's giving them a design of a place where he would rest. So this description is talking about, it's giving us a little clue about his character. It's giving us some clues about him. Okay. So remember, the goal is to know him, right? And to spend time with him. All right. So what you see behind me right now, no, everyone can see my picture behind me. There is an Ark of a Covenant. Okay. It's called the Ark, ARK. Okay. And they call it of the covenant. Now there's all kind of different styles, some have, in a different type, some of them don't have the bands, but pretty much this is an image of what it looks like and how he describes it. Okay. As you notice, there's two winged, what they call a keruvim. Okay. Keruvim. Okay. Okay. And the keruvim they're not angels. Okay. By the way, there is no word in the Hebrew for angel. That is a Greek thought. These are called keruvim. And a keruvim is what they would call a guardian. Okay. They're guardians. And you can see that they have wings, and their wings are spread, and they're over the ark. On the lid that you see behind me, okay, is what they would call a kapareth, which is a covering. Okay. So the ark consists of two different, several pieces, but the main box itself in Hebrew, give you some definitions here. It's going to be pretty interesting too. The name of the box is called Aaron. And you can, transliterate Aaron. Okay. Aaron. It sounds like Aaron, doesn't it? Sounds like Aaron. Okay. But it's Aaron. That's the name of the ark. The ark is called Aaron. A-R-O-N. Okay. If I was to transliterate it, pronunciate it as Aaron. And what's an Aaron in Hebrew? Well, an Aaron in Hebrew, and we'll go over this again on Shabbat, is a box. That's what it is. It's a box. So Yah says that I want you to make a box. And I want you to take this box and I want you to put pure gold around it. And I want you to, on the inside and the outside, I want you to make a cover for this box. Okay. And inside the box, a box is made, right, in a certain shape. And, and inside there's contents. So what's inside it is what they would call the aduth. Okay. I'll give you the Hebrew names. Aduth. You're like, well, what's an aduth? An aduth is what they would call a testimony. A testimony. Whose testimony? Like if you go to court, it's a testimony. The testimony is what they will call, a lot of people call, mistakenly, they call it the 10 Commandments. And I already told you that it's not called the 10 Commandments. That this right here is not the 10 Commandments. There's no word in there in Hebrew in its translation called Zav. There's none. The only words that you hear is called the 10 Hadavarim, the 10 summary words that he says. Now, when you read Exodus, or 20, verses 1 through 20, I believe, or 1 through 18, there's more than 10 words. So why is he calling it 10? Because he's summarizing, right, his word to them, okay, in these 10 statements, okay? These are really like 10 statements, 10 words, okay? So it's not 10 commandments. It's 10 statements, 10 words. And so what he's done is he's saying, listen, I'm going to have you take what I talked to you, when everything I told you, I'm going to ask you to put that inside of this gold box. My testimony. Okay. This is huge because you and I are involved in a different place. You and I are in a different world. We're in a different location. We don't know anything except for everything that someone else taught us. The people that are taught us what we know are the people that hate us. The people that gave us the food that we have are the people that wants to kill us. You understand? The people that are befriending us, okay, are the ones, and their ancestors are the ones, okay, that's more specifically them, but their ancestors are the ones who decided to work us into the ground and never pay us a dime for nothing. And has nobody made anything, any of that right? The people that have brought us over here are what they would call a kidnapper. Okay. So kidnappers, okay, according to the Torah, are put to death. Whether or not you still have the person in your possession, you don't. That's in Shemot chapter number 20. Is it 22? It's 21 or 22. Verse number 17. He says, no kidnapper, whether you got caught with the person or not with the person. If you kidnap somebody, you're being put to death. Okay. So the kidnappers are the ones who are telling us that Yah, our creator, who they call their God, gave you 10 commandments that you and I can't keep. And the reason why we can't keep it is because we're depraved human beings. And you and I are what they call carnal. We're too sexually motivated. If you look up carnal, okay, you look it up on Google, you'll find that it talks about, is more about sexuality. It's not really about just, they give it the name carnal because it sounds cool. And it has to do with like eating meat. It's like they're making you really into an animal. You know what I'm saying? So if you like to eat meat, you're an animal. If you if you like to have sex, you're an animal. Okay. If you like to do anything outside of being religious, you're an animal, and you can't be trusted because you're on the same level as an animal. Okay. And that's what makes the 10 commandments and everything so disagreeable for us, because they're like, you can't keep it. And that's a lie. That's a complete lie, because the aduth, which is the witness, because that's what aduth also means, not only testimony, but it means a witness. Yah himself, Yohe Wahe, has given us a witness about what he said. Everything that the creator told Moshe is in the gold box that you see behind me. Either in it, a copy of a book written and put on the side of it. Okay. Somebody else tell me something right quick. What's also in the gold box? Besides the words and the testimony of the Holy One of Israel, what else did he put in there? Do you know? Don't be shy. What else did he put in there? If you don't know, he put manna inside of the gold box. Okay. He put the covenant inside of the gold box. Okay. He put the covenant, including the Torah. Okay. He put the Torah on the side of the gold box. He also put Aaron's rod, okay, next to the gold box. Okay. And that's where it remained as a witness that Yah is dealing with them. So there's several articles that are inside of this gold box. The poles on this gold box, once they put the poles in, they should never be removed. Right? Yah says you can't remove. They're covered with gold as well. This actual box is made out of a wood called shittim. Okay, shittim wood from Shittah. Shittah is I think it's indigenous to Africa. Okay. And that's where they found it. It's in Africa. So he says, take this wood because this wood doesn't rot. It's impenetrable, meaning like, termites and stuff can't get to it. So it's built to last. Right. So he's asking for these materials, right? He's asking for the precious things. He's asking for precious metals and precious stones. Everything about this is precious to him. Okay. So he's building his house. And in his house, he has his words, what he said inside this box that he wants us to remember. His glory and his esteem, he said, when Moshe talks to him, he's going to talk to him right here between these two cherubim. Okay. By the way, these two cherubim have the faces of men. So, there's several levels of beings that Yah has. To let you know. So one of the first ones there's Keruvim, okay? Keruvim. And you find this in Genesis at the garden where he had them guarding the garden after he put man out, okay? You have what they would call a malakim. A malakim, okay, is different from the karavim. So one is a guardian, which is this guy, these people here, these individuals, and then the malakim are messengers. They deliver messages for the Holy One of Israel. Okay. Then you have another one called the seraphim. Okay. Seraphim. The seraphim are mentioned in Isaiah chapter number 6. And these are the fiery ones. Okay. They're the fiery ones that are by the throne of the Holy One of Israel. This is where they hang out at. Okay. Then they have these other ones called the Ophanim. Okay. Right. The ones that are mentioned in, I think in Ezekiel, where he says, I see these visions, and he has 6 wings. Some of them have wings and some of them don't have wings. Okay. The Malakim don't have wings. The Keravim, they have wings. The Keravim are in the temple of Shlomo. When he built it, he put them all over everything, just like the description that we have in Yah's sanctuary. So Yah is giving us an inside shot on an insight on a vision that he's shown with Moshe that he wants to tell the children of Israel about. Okay. That's what he's doing. When Moshe was writing this down, Yah had this written down because he knew that you and I would be reading it. It was for us. I got to tell it to you again and again and again. The Torah that you're reading today was for you. When Yah wrote this out, he's writing to you and I to let us know what he's thinking about, because he's letting us know that my whole intention is I want to live among you. Okay. The reason why you're not home is because they messed up my house. They did something to me, and they did wrong. They didn't keep their end of the deal. I said I was going to marry them, and they ended up being a whore. They ended up going out with other men and worshiping other Elohim. They ended up being a rebellious son. They became a whoring wife. They're like a daughter to me. So I got to deal with my daughter, because now my daughter is not doing what I asked her to do. So Yah talks to us. He says, you are my sons. You're my daughters. I give you these descriptions. I give you these relationships. Okay. I'm your master. You're my servant. Then he calls us his husband. He says, you're my wife. So how is it that he could be our master and we're his servant? He could be our father. We could be a son. We could be a daughter to him. We could be a wife to him. We could be all these different things. As a matter of fact, we could be an enemy to the Holy One of Israel. Okay. We've taken on all these different roles. So this is one of the reasons why he gives us children and gives us relationships, is so we can kind of get a clue about how to deal with him, but also to the magnitude of the responsibility as being either a father or a son. He doesn't allow you just to be, if you're born a male, you can become a son. So then you're under the authority of your father. Then if you are like me, your dad wasn't around, then you become fatherless. And then Yah becomes your father and he takes care of you, right? Or if you're a young lady, you're born as a female, you know what it means to be a daughter. And then also too, if you do what Yah says and he blesses you, you end up becoming a mother. You see? So we take these roles on, and then also too, as a wife, you have a responsibility to your husband. So you get to play that role. If you're a husband, you got to play the role of a husband to a wife. Everybody has a role to play. Yah has designed everything for a specific reason and purpose. Don't be mad because he didn't make you a husband. Don't be mad because he didn't make you a wife. Accept the role that you're in. If you've been born to be a male, then stay a male. Don't seek to be a woman or be a transgender. Leave it alone. It's not what you're supposed to be doing. I say that because often we don't like the roles that Yah put us in, but we don't understand his design. Yah has a very specific design. And so we see the peculiar, I can't even say it. He's very peculiarity of who he is through what he tells them to do. Okay. So he has this in mind. He has this design. Yah has always been about design. Okay. And he also is about the design of the furnishings as well. Yah has furniture in his house. So he begins to tell him how he wants his furniture, how to be made. You know, when I read the Hebrew, I mean, you guys, it's over and over and over again. It's very difficult when you're reading the Hebrew over and over and over again. It's like really redundant, because you're like, and he said, then you shall make, ta'ah say. All you see, I saw ta'ah say to make in there probably like 50 times. 50 times. I'm not joking. 50 times. He talks more about making something than anything else, according to the pattern. Look, I'm not joking. Make. It's all over the place. He's just talking about how you're to make it. This is how you're supposed to do it. So he gives them instructions about what he wants them to do. Now, we're not going to go over all the different measurements, but one of the things that I do want to tell you that I did see in this so far for these first couple of days, and maybe hopefully I'm not incorrect, I think I saw the number 7 only mentioned once, I think, and this is for the altar. And that's later, but everything else, he's using the numbers for 4, 5, 6. He's using 2, using 3. He only uses 7 like one time. He's using he's talking about the length and the width and the height. He's giving in the measurements. He's telling them what they're going to have to do in order for him to be there, right? Let me see. I'm going to just scroll down right quick. Okay, so make a cover. He goes on, and then okay. What did I want to bring out so far? Okay. All right, so here it is. Look at what he says. He says in verse 20, the cheruvim will have their wings spread out, like you see in my picture behind me, above, okay, out above, so that their wings cover the ark, and that their faces are towards each other and towards the ark. Okay, you are to put the ark cover on top of the ark, but you're only supposed to do this after you do something. Inside of the Aron, you will put the testimony, which is the aduth, that I'm about to give to you. I haven't given it to you yet, but I'm going to give it to you. Once I give it to you, then you're going to put that in there. So Yah's intention is letting them know that I'm going to come and be with you, but I'm going to put what I said, my testimony, what I'm telling you, inside this ark. That's where I'm going, in the gold box, that if you touch it, look at it, anything, any person who's unauthorized, I'm going to kill them. Because he's making a difference between holy and holy of holies. Okay. So there's some distinctions. There's different levels of holiness that are ascribed to the children of Israel. Okay. So right now you got a group of people out here, and I hope they're listening and stop being cowards and come and debate me, that we're not holy right now. Okay. And when I talk about Kodashim, we've been set apart for Yahweh, but in terms of being holy, we're profane. We're not clean. We're not clean. That's a whole nother level of cleanliness. Okay. Tahor is complete purity. I don't care how much white I got on. I don't care how many baths I take. That's a level of Kadosh. That's just a level. The level that we're dealing with the Holy One of Israel is far beyond whatever the human mind can even conceive. It's far beyond. And he's saying to us, I'm going to let you know that I'm the king of the universe. I created everything. I'm going to come and make my home with you. Okay. And he says, look, and there I will meet with you. Where I'm going to meet with you? I'm going to meet with you, right? At the what? At the ark. I'm going to meet with you at that gold box. And I will speak with you from above the ark cover, between the two cheruvim, which are on the ark of the testimony of the aduth, about all the orders and all the commandments that I'm giving you for the people of Israel. Okay. I'm going to come and I'm going to talk to you right here between these two. That's where I'm going to come and talk to you. So when he showed up, they say, scholars have said, that the glory of Yahweh was inside. Like it would, he would descend in his cloud, and he would come and he would talk to Moshe right between these two things right here. This ark cover that you see right here is really a throne, is where Yahweh will take his seat. Amazing, right? To say that the Holy One of Israel is going to take a seat and make his throne here on the earth, on this box, this gold box. because Yahweh is sitting upon the throne of his words. Yah's words are more important than his name. I want you to hear what I'm about to tell you. Yah exalts his words greater than that of his name. Why do I say that? Because the book of Psalms says it. I think it was in 134. And let's go there. Let me go see if that's true. I think it's in 134 or 138. But I want to show it to you. So when someone asks you, you just like, well, why are you saying that? Are you just saying that? Or are you going to, can you show it to me? I want to show it to you. A lot of teachers don't want to, they want to do a lot of talking, but they don't want to take the time to fulfill this purpose for me. Oh, okay, there you go. I was right. It's in 138. Okay. So let's go to Psalms 138. Right quick. All right. And I'm going to do it in the Hebrew because I really want to show you what it is. And don't worry, you'll learn the Hebrew. It's just what it is. It's just words. You just don't know the words, but I'm going to show it to you. Okay. So one of my favorite people, Dawid. All right. So Dawid says that I will praise you. Okay. Odika, I will give you with all my heart. Where I'm reading from right to left. And I will tell before the Elohims. I'm going to make that known before these gods that I will praise you. I will sing your praises because you mean that much to me. Okay. Then he says, I will worship, verse 2, right? Eshtakawe, I will worship toward your what? Your temple, your holy temple, your holy temple, your Quadshika. Okay. And I will ode, I will praise at what? Your name. I'm going to praise your name. Okay. And upon your loving kindness and your truth, for you have magnified, right? Listen, you have magnified Higdalta above all your name, your word, right here. Okay. This word, Higdalta, okay, this means you have made great upon your name or above, okay? All means above, all your name, your imratika, your word, okay? His word is exalted, it's greater, it's more magnified. And the reason why it's greater than his name, not that his name is not great, because his name is worthy to be praised, but it's the words that Yahweh has spoken that we should be concerned with. Yah's name is reflective of who his character is. So if he doesn't follow up with what he said, then his name can't be trusted. And that's important for us to understand. If Yah will not do what he said he was going to do, there's no reason to even call upon his name. Calling upon his name is great because it says that I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do. I'm going to keep my promise. Here it is in English. I will give thanks. I will give you thanks with all my heart, my libi, my mind. That's his heart, all my mind. Not to idols, but to you I sing praise. I bow down towards your holy temple and give thanks to your name for your grace and truth, right? This is interesting, isn't it? Because listen to this. Dawid right here is giving thanks, and he says, I will bow down towards your holy temple. Okay. Which temple? Was the temple built in David's day? No. David died. He didn't get a chance to see the temple. What he did see was Yah's tabernacle. That's what he's talking about. And I will give thanks to your name. Why? For your grace and truth, because that's in his name. Part of Yah's name is grace and truth. For you have made your word greater than the whole of your reputation. Reputation here in Hebrew is your Shemkai, your name. Okay. And then David explains why. He says, when I called, You answered me. You made me bold and strong. All the kings of the earth will thank you when they hear the words that you have spoken. You hear that? All the kings of the earth will thank you, Yahweh, when they hear the words you have spoken. Yahweh's words are greater than his name. He's exalted his words, right? They will sing about what? About Yahweh's ways. Great is the glory of Yahweh, for though Yahweh is high, he cares for the lowly, while the proud he perceives from afar. You keep me alive when surrounded by danger, and you put out your hand when my enemies rage, and your right hand you will save me. Yahweh will fulfill his purpose for me. Your grace, Yahweh, continues forever. Don't abandon the work of your hands. David understood that Yahweh's name was great, but he understood that his words are greater. Is what Yahweh has spoken is greater than Yahweh's name. You see? What we have in our gold box, called the ark, the Aron, okay, let's call it what it is, Aron, the Briti, with the Aduth in it, okay, the testimony. Yahweh's testimonies are greater than his name. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why Yahweh is going to hold everybody responsible. He'll hold us responsible for saying something about him, like if it wasn't true, but he's also going to hold us responsible for the words that we've heard. And the words that you and I have heard, the words that you and I have heard are the words of the testimony. He's going to hold you and I responsible for it. Okay. Whatever you've heard, you're going to be held responsible for. Okay. If you didn't know it and you're guilty, that's fine too. That's between you and the Creator. But what I'm telling you is this: the words of Yahweh is greater than his whole entire name. His name is great, but his words are even greater than his name, because it's the words of Yahweh that are going to be spoken. This is the reason why he tells us to teach your children my ways and tell them my words. Okay, I'm going to give you a little tidbit of that before we close. I want to show you something. Okay, so I showed you this. Now let me show you something else that can help you understand what this is about. Okay, Yah's name is for his people. Okay, but so are the words that Yah was spoken. Yah has spoken his words to his people, his testimonies. Listen what he says. Okay. Just a little something for you to nibble on for the next couple of days. This week we were real fast. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter number 4. Okay. It says, listen. Hey, now Israel, listen, Israel. Listen to the laws and the rulings, okay, which are the Kukim and the Mishpatim, okay, that I'm giving you, my judgments. I'm teaching you in order to follow them so that you will live. If you don't do this, you're going to die. Then you will go in and take possession of the land that Yahweh Elohim of your fathers is giving you. So in order to obey the commandments, okay, of Yahweh, which I'm giving you, do not add, okay, do not add to what I'm saying. Don't yasaf, and what I'm saying, and do not subtract from it. Okay, don't do that. Don't take away. And this word subtract doesn't mean a minus sign. Okay, it means diminish. Don't diminish. Don't undercut what I just said. Don't liquefy it. Don't try to water down what I'm saying, so you can make sure you keep your family. Don't water down what I'm saying so you can keep your relationship with your brother and your sister. Don't you dare take what I said and change it so you can keep your job. Don't do it. There's not a relationship on the earth that can outweigh what Yahweh said. This is where we're having the problem, because Christianity has made us comfortable enough to think that Yahweh is not going to do something to people if they go against what he said. So let me just read a little extra. Okay, so now he's telling us what it is. Don't add to what I'm saying. But in order for you to obey, that's the thing. In order to obey, not if you obey, in order to obey the commandments, you can't, that I'm saying, I'm giving to you, you can't add to what I'm saying. Don't try to do extra. Don't try to throw a little extra on it. Leave it exactly the way it is. And don't you dare diminish what I said. If I told you I'm going to kill these people, I told you I'm going to kill them. You try to make it right for the poor person, I'm going to kill you too. I'll show you a scripture that says if you saw something, you try to like minimize because the poor person's poor, I'm going to put the judgments come on you. Oh, I don't want to testify to what I saw because if I do, I'm going to lose that. And our friendships at Doria says, great, you're going to bear the consequences of the judgment. I'm going to kill you too. Yeah. No one likes to hear the death part of this. But I got some news for you. The only reason why you're online right now is because you want to live. As a Christian, you get eternal life. It's mixed up for you. You already got it. It's nothing, you're not capable of doing nothing. You can't keep no laws. You don't have the ability to do nothing. And, you just believe and then you go make it. This is why nobody wants this. Nobody wants what's in this gold box. I got people that come over my house and contractors come to my house and say, what's going on here? Because I got a little replica of the ark. I got my tablecloth is all in Hebrew. I got the menorahs. I got everything. I got shofars. I got it all. I got, reading materials, study materials. I got all kind of Torahs and Tanakhs and everything open up. It's all over the place. What do what's going on with religion? I said, I'm not a religion. I'm just telling you, I'm the creator of the heavens and the earth. We follow what he says, what he told us. Okay. So listen what he said. He said, you saw with your own eyes what Yahweh did. He's going to give an example. Here's the example. What Yahweh did at Baal Por. This is a location where the children of Israel got comfortable and started partying with some other people. And they forgot about Yah. That Yahweh destroyed from among you all the men who follow Baal Por. That means the God of those people. But you who stuck with Yahweh, your Elohim, okay, are still alive. Every one of you. So he's letting you know Yah is guaranteeing if you do what he says and you stick with Yah, okay? If you stick with him like glue, okay, to what he says, that's why he's telling you don't add to what I'm saying, don't subtract. Don't minimize, don't diminish. Oh, he ain't gonna do nothing. Don't diminish what I said. He said, you're still alive, every one of you. The people that were part of this party here, the Baal Por, Yah told him to take those people and hang them out. Hang them all up. Hang them so we're until the sun rises. When the sun goes down, you take them down. I need you to hang them up. All the leaders of the people who went out there, go hang them all by their necks and leave them up. That's your Elohim. Okay, so it's not, I know it's going to be a little uncomfortable. Our Elohim is the one who will hang you by your neck. Our Elohim is the one who will kill you and your kids and never blink, never think about it. He's the one who would do these things, but he's also one of love and compassion. All he's literally asking us to do is to do what I told you, because I know what's right. This is not a religion. This is the way I intended all humanity to live. And you're supposed to be the leaders of humanity. You're the chief people of all the peoples on the face of the earth. I'm asking you to do this, but the people who stuck with Yahweh lived. But the people who didn't stick with him, they're dead, every last one of them. So then he says this, look, this is what Moshe said, I have taught you laws and rulings, which are Kokim and Mishpatim. Mishpatim is what you just read last week. Chapters 21, 22, 23, and 24. That's what the rulings are. You ever want to know what the rulings are, go read those chapters again. Mishpatim right here. Exodus 21, 22, 23, and 24. That's all he asked. He says, Yahweh, my Elohim, ordered me. I'm doing what he told me. I taught you. I had to teach you the Kokim, not laws. I got to teach you the Kokim, the statutes of Yahweh, the decrees of Yahweh. I got to teach these things to you. That's what Yah wanted me to do for you. So when we're listening to Moshe, you got to understand it. It's because Yahweh wanted him to teach us. So that's why you're doing the Torah portion. That's why I'm not running through the Torah portion. I'm not trying to bring you somewhere else and talk about things that don't matter. I don't care if the world's on fire right now. That's not important to us. because it's not going to deliver you. The only thing that's going to keep you alive is if you stick with Yahweh. Don't you get it? If you stick with him, you stay alive. All right. So in this, Yah commanded him to do this. He ordered him so that you can behave, because that's what the laws or the kukim and the mishpatim are for. So you can behave accordingly in the land where you're going in order to take possession of it. So you guys would say, well, we're not in the land, so why are we learning it? Because Yah wants us to walk through it so you can find out what happened and why you won't be tripping when you go back to the desert and then he kills a lot of people before your eyes. You won't cry out and say, oh, he killed his own people. You won't say that. The only thing you would say is praise Holy One of Israel. That's what, okay. So the reason why you're learning too right now is because we have the same purpose they have. Yah's telling us that I have to prepare you. So when you go, you're going to have to learn how to behave when I bring you into your land. It's not magic, because you're going to go take possession of the land. But I told you already that I'm going to come and get you. And when I come and get you, I'm going to bring you out to the wilderness. I'm going to cleanse you. And then no one's going to have to teach you anything, because I'm going to give these things to you. I'm going to put them on your heart, in your mind, myself. I'm not going to have Moshe teach it to you. You've been taught by Moshe. I'm not going to have that anymore. Moshe is teaching us right now. Who's teaching us the Mishpatim? Who's telling us these words? Moshe is telling us. Who wrote these words? Moshe. Who's teaching us right now? Moshe. You see? So that's the reason, okay, for us to learn. So we'll learn how to behave. Okay. A lot of us don't know how to behave, and a lot of our children don't know how to behave because they don't follow the laws and the rulings, the kukim and the mishpatim. You hit your parent, you're dead. You swear to your parent, you're dead. And you think that applies only when you get to the land. No, 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 no. You are Yahweh's people. If any of Yahweh's people do any of these things that are contrary to Yah's laws and his rulings, his kukim and his mishpatim, Yah says, I'm going to kill you. Don't worry, you're going to get it. Okay. Is that a threat? No, it's a promise. Because I want you to start behaving the way that I want you to behave, which is noble. Because I'm of royalty. And therefore, because I'm royalty, I'm trying to give you some clues. That's why I told them to put everything in gold. That's why I told them to bring the silver. I told them to bring the precious stones. I told them to bring the onyx. I told them to bring the woven, the fine linen. I told them all these different things. I told them to choose these beautiful colors, the tekaleth, the blue and the argamon, and the purple and the scarlet. Okay, I told them these things. I told them that I wanted to bring the finest of pure olive oil. I told them I want the gold to be purified to where it's nothing, no impurities in it whatsoever. Because I'm giving you some insight about my character. I'm letting you know what I'm about. And because I'm that Elohim, you will have to be these people. Okay, right? So 6 says, therefore observe them, meaning do them. Okay, this word right here is called asah. Do you remember in the Torah portion I told you, I said I read that word over 50 times? Which means you shall make, 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 meaning this is to make and to do. That's what this word asah means. That word is used over 50 times in the 2 chapters of chapter 25 and 26. Yah's big on us doing what he says. He doesn't tell you, he didn't ask anybody to believe them. This word here is not believe them. Okay, so that knocks all your Christianity out. That knocks all your Hebristians and your Christianites. All of them are gone because Yahweh wants you to do them. Okay, you said, well, I can't do them because I'm not in the land. Well, let me ask you a question. Do you have a heart to do it? Which is, do you have the mind to do it? If he told you to do it, would you do it? That's the question. Do you fear him to say, yes, that's what he would ask me to do? That's what I would do. You're telling me that out of the 10 words, the Hadavarim, about him being our only Elohim, you can't do that? You're telling me you can't keep the Shabbat holy? You're telling me that you can't steal? You're telling me that lying is off the table now? And you telling me that you cannot kill anybody that you want to kill? Are you telling me that now you can start stealing? You tell me you can't not steal? What are you telling me? Are you telling me that you can't honor your parents? You see? So the Holy One of Israel knows what it is, and he's asking us to do what he says. Not only to do them, but follow them, to tread on them and to guard them. And then all the peoples will what? They'll have eyes. All these people gonna have eyes, and they go what? They go see. They're gonna be like, you having wisdom and understanding. From what? Where do you get your wisdom? Where do you get your understanding? You get it from the Kukim and the Mishpatim. That's what David said that he got his wisdom from. That's where he said he got his knowledge from. That's what Shlomo said he got it from Elohim. So you and I will become wise people if we begin to do what he says, if we begin to start planning. He says the people of using wisdom and understanding. Understanding means to build. That's called Banah. Did not Yah tell him, this is what I want you to Asa? Asa means to do and to observe. To do what? To do what I told you. If you do what I told you, then you can be able to have wisdom. You're asking questions and make an inquiry, and then Yah will give you understanding. You begin to build. Building, Banah means to build. You can build your family. You can build your business. You can build your life around these things. You don't go out and go get no business and you know that it's going to break the Shabbat. You don't go out and get a franchise and you know they sell pork. You don't do that and suppose and hope that the Holy One of Israel some kind of way would guard and protect you. You're not guarding what he says. I'm so happy he got rid of my franchise businesses. I had 3 of them, and I had another one, a sushi one, with all, it had some unclean stuff in there. You understand what I'm saying? Crab meat, all that kind of stuff. It would have violated what he said. So in order for us to build, okay, and he's not just talking about building where you're at, he's talking about building this within oneself. That's what he's saying. People would recognize, they will see with their eyes. Okay, this is not a believe that you have wisdom. These people actually see that you have a lot of wisdom and you have a lot of understanding because of everything that you follow what the Holy One of Israel says. And when they hear of all these kukim, they will say, this great nation, this Goi, is surely a wise and understanding people. No one has ever said that about those people that call themselves Jews. They're crafty, they're cunning, they're very devilish, okay? But ain't nobody said that about them. Ain't nobody said, the world is not looking at them saying that. They're so concerned about how someone talks about the Holocaust, they get mad. They want to keep that narrative going, okay? So listen, for what great nation is there, in closing, what great nation is there, a Goi, that has Elohim as close to them as Yahweh our Elohim is? That's a question whenever we call on him. This is the reason why he wanted to build the Mishkan. This is the reason why the Mishkan, the sanctuary, his house. He wants to build this house because he wants to be close to us. That's the reason why he built the temple, to be close to us. The reason why he spoke his words is to be close to us. And how do we reward him in the next couple of chapters after this week's Torah portion? You'll find out. Let's just focus on this. Let's don't go into weeks from today. Let's talk about what his intention was. And then once you understand that, when you get to 2 weeks or a week from 2 weeks from today, you're gonna be like, man, what happened? Within a 30 to 40 day period, what happened? So you can see he's trying to draw near to his people. That's the question. What great nation is there that has Elohim as close to them as Yahweh, our Elohim, whenever we call? How often did we call on the name of another God and he never showed up? This is the question you need to ask your people in your family. Just take chapter 4, verse 7 and ask him this. What God is there so close to you that you can call on him and he'll answer you? The reason why our Elohim hasn't answered us is because we're not in his presence, meaning like we're on punishment right now. I turn my face away. I won't hear nothing you got to say until that punishment is over. But I'm still merciful. I'm going to still let you come to your senses and start thinking about me. I'm going to let you think about me. Could you imagine Yahweh taking away the ability for us to even think about him? Could you imagine him removing any part of his name from us? Just think about that for a second. Verse number 8, what great nation is there that has kukim, laws and decrees and rulings, mishpatim, as just as, or righteous, not just as, righteous. That's what this just as righteous as this entire Torah instructions, which I'm setting before you today. Those are the questions we need to ask ourselves. That's the questions we need to ask ourselves. We called on another God and he never answered us. You should have known that that wasn't our Elohim. We never had the laws and the rulings and the mishpatim, but now you and I are getting to learn them as this entire Torah. That's why I go to the Torah. That's why we spend time in the Torah, because Yahweh wants us to know that his whole goal is to be close to us. And his intention is to be close to us. His intention is to be our Elohim. His intention is that whenever we call on him, he would answer us. He says, when you're in trouble, you can call on me. When what? When you're right standing with me. Right now, you're in the lands of your enemies, and they're taking advantage of you, and you're calling out to me, and there's nothing I'm going to do. It's not that I can't do anything. I won't do anything, because I already spoke in my words. I've already told you that when I send you there, you're going to be punished. That's what I told you. But you got these clowns out here that are lying to you and telling you, and liars and religious leaders telling you that you have my spirit. They're telling you that you're in a new covenant. They're telling you that you don't have to do what he says anymore. You don't have to do his laws. They're telling you that the Mishkan is just a picture. It's a type and shadow of what Christ really represents. That's what they're telling us. Instead of telling us the truth, that the Holy One of Israel is giving us insight about what his throne is like. He's telling us where he's going to sit and reside. He's telling us the purpose of why he's doing this. I mean, I just scratched the surface with the Ark of the Covenant. We have all kinds of articles in the Tabernacle that we should discuss and get a little bit more insight. We're not going to get everything. It'd take hours and probably days to go over what each one means, but I'm going to take a little bit from each one, and we're going to get some more understanding. And then our next time we come around the Torah portion, this one again, we go build upon that. It's not designed. The Torah is not designed for you to pick up everything and then leave and go to the next one. The Torah portions are designed for you to pick up a little bit, and then once you get there, you eat what you got to eat, then we're going to move on. And the next time you come in, you'll get some more. And the next time you come, you get some more. And then you'll build it up. You know, I was tripping off the fact, I was like, man, I read chapter 25 and 26 in Hebrew, and I was like, wow, I can actually read this and understand it. I've come a long way because I'm doing it all the time. It's just the road that we're on. Okay. So be encouraged, stay on this road, understand that the Torah is what's going to give us our wisdom and our understanding. That's why you should not add to it and you should not diminish from it. Okay. Moshe is the one who's telling us these things because Yah chose him to tell us. And what greater person to tell us what rebels we are except for Moshe? You think he's just talking to those people? He's not just talking to those people. If you read it very carefully, he's talking to us. And he's letting us know that we're a bunch of rebels. And we have to learn that until we turn from our rebellion, and Yah says, I need you to turn to me wholeheartedly. I need you to be noble in your character. So right now, we're just going through a process of having our character changed. That's all. And you guys are game for it. I need to have my character. You guys, let me just tell you something, okay? There's things about me that I don't like. There are things about myself I just really don't like, okay? And I'm going through a process where I got to change those things, okay? Not to say that I'm doing it on purpose. It's just where I was raised. It's some things I picked up. All of us pick up baggage when we're growing up. We pick up habits. We pick up ways of life. We pick up understandings, you know, the way that we grew up, the environment that we grew up that dictates how we act and how we respond. You know, I'm not saying that I'm wrong on everything, but I'm saying there's some things that I am wrong on. Even though I might be right about what my intentions are, it's just the way my delivery is just off the chain sometimes, you know. It is. I'm just going to be honest. So I say that because I want to let you know that this is real and you're real people and you have real lives and you can't play this religious game. You can't try to make something work for you because you just need it right now as a band-aid to just kind of get things to keep everything together. You know, in order to keep our marriage together, let me just do this just to keep it together for right now. In order for me to keep this job, let me just, strap this down. Sometimes you got to go in and rip everything out. And you feel helpless and hopeless. Like, I don't have nothing left. There's nothing left of myself. That's where I'm at. I'm literally coming to having nothing left of me. I don't have nothing. I mean, I just recently sold a 69 Camaro. I sold a 69 Classic Camaro. And, I can't drive and stuff right now, but I was like, you know what? That's not me anymore. Oh man, you should have never sold that car. I don't care about that car. I care about me. I care about my life. I care about how I'm going to finish my days. You know what I'm saying? So I say that, I don't know why I'm saying it, but I'm just saying it. We have to change some things. We have to change our behaviors. We have to have our character change. Stick with Torah, and Yahweh will begin to develop you and develop your character. That's what he's trying to do. That's the whole book of Shemot is about. The whole book of Exodus, Shemot, is about character. We get to see Yah's character. We get to see our character. We get to see what character he wants us to have. We get to see who we are. We get to see a whole bunch of other people's character and be like, okay, we're going to learn from that. Don't do that. You're going to do, I want to be like that. I like that character. So you'll see characters that you like, and you'll see characters that you don't like, and you might see a character that reminds you of yourself. You're like, oh my goodness, that's me. Yeah, that's me. You see? So let's humble ourselves before him for the rest of this week. Finish out your week with reading your Torah portion. You have a couple of more days, and remember to pray and keep your head on the ground. Remember to be thankful for everything that you have, and remember to keep your words minimum with the Holy One of Israel. We don't need to have long out prayers with him. We just need to go ahead and tell him thank you and praise him and worship him and thank him for his words, because without his words, you and I wouldn't even be online right now, because he esteems his word greater than his name, the reputation of his name. His name wouldn't be anything without what he said. Remember, Yah spoke everything into existence before he even mentions his name in chapter number 2. So it's just about him speaking. You understand what I'm saying? So if he spoke this day that you and I are in, he spoke you and I coming to him. He spoke it. He said, you guys are going to forget me, but I'll cause you to remember. Has he not caused you to remember? He has caused you to remember. Has he not put a fire in you? Has he not put a desire in you to know more? Yes, he has. He's made it to where you're even online and you're in a whole nother state and you're with somebody in California. I'm going to let you guys go. Shalom. Okay. I'll see you on Shabbat.
Shalom.